you've been speaking recently about the fact that that everything is energetically connected, and that this is actually on a certain level, on a level that's sort of beyond the 5 sense level, a battle of energy. And maybe I can get you to address that briefly.
Well, it is when you understand the nature of reality and you understand the two polarities of energy. And to understand this, all you really have to do is look at science. Look at quantum physics. Look at the work of people like Bruce Lipton, who is a cellular biologist who explains how your body works as a biological computer. Very, very reputable stuff, cutting edge stuff. Look at the work of Nassim Haramein, who explains the nature of black holes and how energy works and how compression and expansion works in the universe. It's a big rabbit hole to go down. It would take me hours to explain it to you now in a nutshell. But if you look at science, what science basically tells you is that everything consists of energy. There is no such thing as true matter. Atoms are mainly empty space. And that's something people take for granted. They go, oh wow, atoms are mainly empty space. But they don't realise the significance of it. Because if you look at an atom and you realise that an atom is 99.99999% empty space, that's 5 nines after the point. That's 1/10,000th of 1% of that atom is actually matter. That's not very much matter in an atom. And when you think everything's made of atoms, that means 1/10,000th of 1% of this chair that I'm sitting on is actually matter. So what am I sitting on? I'm sitting on what I perceive to be there. I perceive a chair to be here. I mean, it's very complicated, but basically when you look at reality and you understand that all that actually exists within reality is energy, and you understand that this energy has two polarities, and it's just variations of those two polarities that make up all of reality. And you realize that within this physicality that we live in, there are certain individuals who understand this energy, and they tend to be polarized, and they tend to feed off the more polarized side of the energy field. And this could be interpreted in this reality as fear. If you look at it on an emotional way, on an emotional level, this energy can be interpreted as love and as fear. So if you're not in love, you're in a state of fear. And there are a lot of people that are in this state of fear, or they are in a state of harvesting this fear, thriving on this energy. It's like an addiction. It's like a drug to these people. You know, what a serial killer does, and all of these sorts of things. They feed off the energy of their victim. And you put this on a massive scale, and this is a lot of what the people who are in control of our governments are doing, which is why the wars are created and all of this sort of stuff. It's all about harvesting energy. And you can look at everything on an energetic level, even in daily interactions with people that you might come in contact with. Often these are energy exchanges. When you're having an argument with someone, it's an energy exchange. Who gets the upper hand? Who takes the other person's energy? All of these things are energy exchanges. Everything we do is energy exchanges, all of it. And when you start to get a grasp on what reality is, you begin to see how this works. It's really difficult to explain in a nutshell. But when you understand your body is a biological computer. You're downloading one frequency from the surrounding field, and you're just experiencing that frequency. And you're replenishing the field as well. You download energy from the field into your DNA, precipitate the matter of the body, and you replenish the energy field as well with your emotional content. This is why the rulers try to do it. They try to keep everybody's emotional content in a state of stress and fear, because that's the energy that they thrive on. It's quite amazing when you get into it, but it's all explained by science. It really is.
And this is the tool that they're using to manipulate the world. They're using the fear pushed through the media, pushed through, the schools, pushed through everything as a means of manipulating humankind and manipulating the energy field itself.
Absolutely. The whole societies that we live in are structured on fear. All of it. It's fear of everything. Fear, everyday life is fear. Fear of paying the bills. Fear of peer group pressure. Fear of everything. Fear of not having food on the table. Everything is based in fear. And the way this is brought to the people, and the way that people are kept in this state mainly, is through the manipulation of the money supply. Keeping people in a state of shortage by the introduction of money, making people dependent on money so that it keeps them in a state of shortage rather than in their natural state, which is a state of abundance. And this is why people tend to overspend, and they live beyond their means and all this stuff, because the natural state is a state of abundance. Money is simply a talisman to keep people in control, keep people in fear, because most fear is money-based, monetary-based. Most of the problems that we face are monetary-based. They're because of shortage. People are in a state of need rather than in a state of abundance, and so there's rivalry, there's wars, there's crime, all of this stuff, and we fear all the wars and all the crime and all the rivalry. You know, it's all interrelated, it's all connected, very, very clever. Money is actually an ancient druidic talisman for control. That's all it is. And even the dollar sign is an ancient druidic symbol called the scourge. So that says it all, really. They give the scourge to people to keep them in a state of fear and keep them in a state of dependence rather than in their natural state of abundance. That's what it's all about. And our whole society is right from when you're a kid. It's all based on fear, everything. You know, don't touch that, I'll give you a smack. You know, when you're a kid, and then you go to school, fear of not passing your tests, fear of being kept down a grade, fear of peer group pressure, fear of everything, and we need to move past this and realise that there is nothing to fear. Everything that we need in the world is all provided freely for us. It's just that this government has got in control and they've given us all this paper, and now we all believe we need this paper in order to have the stuff that's provided here freely for us. It's a joke, you know. We really need to wake up to the control that money puts on people, and this control as well. I mean, it's a terminal monetary system, and the reason it's able to put the control that it does over people is because of the imposition of interest on the money. I mean, money itself is not inherently bad. It's just a means of trade. You know, whether it's sticks or shiny rocks or buttons, it doesn't matter. Something that we pass around to each other so that, okay, 3 buttons for this hammer or whatever, so it's just a medium of trade, but it's the imposition of interest on the money that creates debt. Interest is the sole cause of all debt in the world. If it wasn't for interest, there would be no debt. If there was no debt, there would be no shortage. We'd all be in abundance. So people need to wake up to this and realise it's a privately run scam, the whole thing, and it's designed to implode. It will eventually implode on itself. It's not if, it's when. And when it does, it's been designed in such a way that all the debt for that implosion will be transferred to the people. So the people will have to give up all of their possessions, and that will all go into the hands of the bankers who run the monetary system. It's just a big pyramid scheme designed to do this.
Yeah, huge Ponzi scheme. And of course that's the reason for the destruction of cultures that don't operate on a monetary system. You look at the destruction of the Native American cultures, both in North and South America, or you look at even currently the destruction of the Amish culture, where they're living in a self-sustainable way in a farming system outside the corporate system, outside the monetary system, and you've got the FDA attacking them, the destruction of the Aboriginals here in Australia, and that sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's how they do it. So they find a culture and they impose a monetary system on the culture, because then that gives them the opportunity and puts them in a position where they can marginalise that culture. They can create a state of shortage within that culture. Once you create a state of shortage, to create a state of need, then you've got them over a barrel, and then you can marginalise them, you can control them, you can keep them out of their natural state of abundance, keep them in a state of fear energy, keep them in a state of stress. That's what it's all about. Charge the field with stress, charge the field with fear energy. They thrive on this stuff. See, the people that are in control, this is a psychopathic group of people. These are all psychopaths. All of our leaders are psychopaths. Even to want to be a leader of a country, this isn't a normal thing to do. Why would you want to control everybody in the country? And that's what they do, these leaders. You look at what they do. They don't get in power and become Gandhi. They don't get in power and become Christ and try to help everybody in the country. They get in power and they put all these new rules in. They make you all do things their way. These are psychopaths. This is a classic textbook behaviour of a psychopath. And that's what these people are. So that's why they do it. And money is the perfect tool for controlling and marginalising a group of people. You can kill an entire population by introducing a monetary system, because then you can just crash their dollar, crash their monetary system. They won't be able to buy food, and they'll all turn into peasants in third world countries. It's the way it works. Now, the monetary system created the third world. It created capitalism, and it created the third world through the creation of capitalism and the imposition of money on people.